Loaded bases, Ian Sagdal. How's it going?
Oh, not too bad. I'm glad the smoke is finally cleared for all of us.
So yeah, we were about half a mile from the evacuation over here. So that was kind of sucky.
Yeah, I bet. That's terrible.
So what do you do and who do you play for?
So I play for I'm in the Washington Nationals organization. And last year I was in Double A, which is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the Harrisburg Senators.
Nice.
Um, Play first base, third base for them. They have a pretty unique stadium. It's on an island. I can't remember the name of the river, but it's literally on
What?
an island and a bridge runs right through it. And it's pretty cool. I mean, there were a couple times early in the year last year where we would travel and guys would have to leave their keys in the locker room because the island floods sometimes.
Oh, what?
So there were a couple instances where they had to move guys' cars off the island. So yeah, it got pretty hectic at times.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is so like from what I've heard, double A is the toughest, I guess the toughest level
I
underneath.
would agree with that.
You would? So
Yeah, I would.
why do you agree with that?
Um,
Or I guess who is the toughest pitcher that you faced in double A? That
oh man,
in your opinion.
there were a lot of guys, but if I had to pick one,
One or two. I'll make it easy.
I mean
Or
the
three.
one that comes to mind right away, and he just made his MLB debut was Nate Pearson for Toronto.
Yep.
He was the real deal. He was 97 to 99 the whole game. He threw like 7 innings, 8 innings, and he got taken out. And I think his pitch count was at like 75 in the seventh or eighth inning. And
That's a
I mean,
great day at the ballpark.
oh man, it just seemed like every guy that came up was 3 pitches or less. He either was striking guys out or just getting early outs.
And
And
that's
I
the
mean,
way to do it.
exactly, especially for a pitcher. But yeah, I mean, everything about him was smooth. He's huge. He's like 6'6", 6'7". Just, he's a horse on the mound. But I mean, yeah, him, and there were a couple guys in the Yankees organization, Trenton City Thunder. They were loaded. It wasn't fun facing them. I mean, their entire bullpen was 95 plus. We got the scouting report, and it was just like,
Is this right? Is this valid?
these guys throw hard. All right, we get the picture.
Gear up and go.
Yeah, shorten up your swing, choke up a little bit, and battle.
That's insane. So where or what I was gonna say. I forgot what I was gonna ask. I can edit any of this shit. So let's see. Oh yeah, so you're a Northwest guy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Central
Born and raised,
Washington. Yep.
born and raised in East Wenatchee. There's a difference.
Eastmont.
Yep.
There if you tell someone from Wenatchee that it's all Wenatchee, they get irritated.
I mean, I'm not going to get irritated, but there is a difference. There definitely is a difference because I have people from all across Washington. When I introduce myself and they ask me where I'm from, I always say East Wenatchee, and they're always like, "Well, isn't it just Wenatchee?" I'm like, "Well, no, it's not."
No, it's I would say because I'm the same way. Like when people say like, "Where are you from?" Washington State, and I go, "Oh, Seattle." Like, nope. Like I'm over
First,
on the.
first place they always say.
I am on the east side, and they're like, oh, like, so does it rain all the time? Like, nope, it snows over here. We get all, it's 100 degrees. And they're like, wait, what? I'm like, it's a desert. It,
Literally, that's the
and
best way to describe it.
and people have no idea. It's a
No, not
desert
a clue.
with orchards.
Yeah. I
That is,
mean, it's incredible how much people don't know about Washington.
especially the east side of Washington,
The east side of Washington is like a huge question mark to people.
the most underrated. Well, I mean, I don't know if I would rate it that high, but the most underrated, talked about place in Washington State.
Yeah. I mean, I loved it because growing up, I got to go hunting, fishing,
Yes.
all of that. And I mean, yeah, you can do that over in Seattle, but not to the extent
No,
of Eastern Washington,
I mean,
where you don't have to worry about somebody being, 100 yards away.
no. I mean, we say because it's like from Sela, it's about 30 minutes up to the mountains, and then to go fishing, less than that.
Yeah.
It's
I
it's
mean, I have the Columbia River right in my backyard in
oh
Wenatchee.
yeah, no. We would go to what's that beach called? It's like Bimbo Beach or whatever they call it.
Bimbo Beach.
Yes, we would go there in the summers.
Classic.
It was fun.
Oh, yeah. Great hangout spot.
So tell me about your draft story. I want to know how it went down.
Oh, man. Let's see here. So I left WSU, I think it was like the first week of June. Our season finished up, had to move out of the house. And I got home, was hanging out with a few friends, didn't really know like what was going to happen. I had talked to
Yeah.
I'd filled out quite a few questionnaires, but never really like talked to any of the scouts after the season ended. And then draft day rolled around, and the first day went by, and I was a little bummed because I didn't get, drafted in the first round.
Ah, damn. Rough day.
Rough day, but no, I knew it wasn't going to be the first 2 days. Well, I was hoping it would be on the second day because I was being a senior. I was hoping to be like a senior sign where, like in the first 10 rounds where they're trying to save money.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. So on the third day, I kind of was like, well, I don't know if it's going to happen. And I actually was with one of my buddies at the time, and we were sitting there in my living room listening to the draft and, hoping to see my name. And it got to about probably midway through the 15th round. And I was like, man, I can't be in the house anymore. Like, I'm going nuts. So I was like, I'm going to run down to like the gas station, grab like a drink or something. I'll be back. And so I'm driving down to this gas station right down the road, and my dad calls me and he's like, hey, like, have you heard anything? Have you talked to anybody? I was like, no, haven't heard a thing.
It's over.
He's like, well, keep your head up. Hopefully something happens here, still quite a few rounds left. And I was like, yeah, well, it's not looking good. And then he was like, all right, well, let me know if you hear anything, all right? And I was like, all right. And I was just about to hang up the phone. He goes, oh, my God, you just got drafted. And, of course, my dad's like kind of a jokester like I am. And I'm like, dude, come on. Like, that's so messed up. Like, why are you teasing me like that?
I'd be pissed. I'd be so
Oh,
pissed.
yeah. I was like, dude, that's not funny. He's like, no, I'm dead serious. You just got drafted 16th round of the Washington Nationals. And I was like, you're serious?
That's pretty specific.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, sweet. I mean, I didn't get a phone call from anybody or anything, like nothing. So I was like, that's why I was so skeptical.
It'd
because
be
I didn't.
that would be kind of, I mean, I wouldn't know if it was true. I mean,
Exactly.
even if, I mean, just because, I mean, I'm optimistic about stuff, but then again, it's like it sounds too good to be true, like getting drafted.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt because I didn't get a phone call. I didn't talk to anybody. It was just like, is this a joke or
It's like,
is
oh,
this
hey,
real?
cool, my name.
Yeah, literally, that's exactly how it happened. It was like
Wild.
the ticker went 16th round. I don't remember what pick, but Ian Sagdal, infielder for WSU. And so, yeah, then I went back, and my buddy had no idea because he was on his phone. And I was like, dude, I got drafted. And he's like, what? No way. How come I didn't hear it? And I was like, probably because you're on your phone. But
Today's
yeah,
problems.
yeah, right. And then got the family together, had some friends at a restaurant, and that was pretty much it. First thing I actually did, though, after I found out, was go and get 2 Nationals hats, one for myself, obviously, and then one for my little brother, because
Nice.
he was pretty excited to have a big brother get drafted. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like that's a big deal though.
Yeah, it was. It had been a long time since anyone got drafted from Eastmont. I'm not
What?
really
Who?
familiar with Wenatchee, but
I'd say. I think there's been 2 people from Wenatchee that I know,
well, Driver and
and
then
CJ Getman.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, he went. Yeah, he played at WVC with me for 1 year,
right,
and then went to Central
yep,
and got drafted out of there.
with the Giants.
Yep.
Yeah,
But other than that, I don't think there's any. I mean, there's been anyone since.
no, not that I can think of. Yeah, no, which is crazy because that like area between like Wenatchee, Yakima, Tri-Cities, like
Yeah.
there's some really good players out of there. It's just whether or not you can get seen or not.
I I believe that. Well, I mean, I'd say a lot of the guys like who do go to like the bigger schools, they pay all the money to go get seen.
Mhm.
And then if you don't have the money or anything like that, like on the east side, like of the state, I mean, you're SOL.
Yeah, and that's like we
It's
discussed
sad.
earlier. It's tough if if you don't have the money
Yeah.
nowadays, which is sad because who knows how many guys are out there that do have the talent but have never been in the right spotlight.
Yep. I mean,
But
it only takes that one or like that one, or it's like that one moment, like for a coach or even like anyone like to see you, just say, hey, like this guy's legit. Like,
yeah, all it takes is one person to like you,
and that can go a
and that can
long
go
way.
a long, long way.
See, like what I'm learning, I guess, in the baseball like industry, it's just pretty much all like who you know. I mean, because like everyone like from what I know so far, like everyone's pretty open like with each other,
Oh yeah, I
and it's
mean,
all like helpful.
yeah, absolutely. Um, I mean, it definitely helped me going to a camp when I must have been 16 or 17 years old to WSU.
Hmm.
I mean, that's what really like put me on the map, I think, as far as being recruited.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, going to all these tournaments and travel ball teams that I played with, the exposure that you get as far as like playing against other guys, I mean, that can go a long way as well. I
Yeah.
mean, when I was 13 years old, I had already played against Bryce Harper, and God knows who else I played against. But
Yeah.
it's just like that those are name drops that you can be like, yeah, I played against these
Oh,
guys
yeah, for sure.
to anybody that you talk to about it.
So yeah, there was what was it? There was a guy I was talking to the other night, and he actually played in a tournament in Cooperstown, New York, in the same time I was there.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And then I had a buddy who I went to college with who's from Hawaii that was also there at that same time. It's just that's all I feel that baseball is. It's just like at some point you played against someone.
Exactly. Yeah.
What,
Man, that would be. I think every kid should be able to experience Cooperstown.
dude? It's I think like to this day probably like one of my favorite times of my life for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely. I mean, you're there for a week, basically in a building with bunk beds, and you're with some of your best friends growing up. I
Yes.
mean, name a better time to be alive
Oh, there
at
is
the
none.
age of,
12. Well, yeah,
12 years old.
the week we were there was Hall of Fame induction week too. So that was, I mean, it's like the whole entire town was crazy.
Just
And it
filled.
yes, and then it just makes it that much better.
Yeah. I mean, did you get to go to Cooperstown
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
go to the
back
Hall of Fame?
yep. Yeah, in 2007 we went up there and then played in tournament. It,
Yeah. That's the one thing I regret was at the time, and I was just so young, and all I cared about was being on a baseball field.
yep.
I didn't really care about the history, how this game became.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to be on a baseball field. I wanted to be playing. I just was so, looking straight. I didn't want to look anywhere else. And that's like one of the biggest things that I regret when I was down there. We went there, we went to the Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
and I think we had to wait like,
That's a cool
half
place.
hour. Like that was, we had to wait a half hour. So it just, my attention span was not there.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave. I wanted to go back to Cooperstown, Field of Dreams, and be with everybody else. And we literally walked down one row where all the plaques are. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like
I'm
get me out.
out.
So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, if every kid could experience Cooperstown or something similar like that, I think that would just be so huge for the game of baseball.
Oh yeah, there's there's complexes. It's like the big league dream parks, and then like the fields look.
Oh, the replicas?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
down in like Cali.
yeah. I played down in Manteca, California.
Yep.
There, and it was dude, it was badass.
It's incredible.
I mean, and I think like that alone, like playing like on a field like that, it kind of like gives you that like kind of like manifesting like what you want to do.
Hmm.
I
I think
mean,
it really puts things into perspective too of
yeah,
what you're trying to achieve.
yeah,
And especially for kids that really take baseball serious and they want to pursue something after high school, I think when you go to a place like that, it just really puts things into perspective on what you're working towards and
yeah,
what potentially could be for you. And that's what I mean as far as like kids being able to experience that. Because I mean, you're a guy from Sela, I'm a guy from Wenatchee.
yeah.
Closest thing we have to a big league field in high school is what?
It's, T-Mobile,
Well, I mean,
Safeco, but like,
but do you get to play there?
yeah, no.
Exactly.
I
That's
mean,
what I mean. Like,
well, you had the well for state because Eastmont's 3A, right? You guys are
correct.
yeah. So for 3A and 4A state for Final Four, you play over there.
Right. I never went to state in high school, but we did get to go to Safeco and play for like I can't remember what it was, but it was something to do with like, a high school classic where they invite like certain high schools each year and you get to go and play a game in
Damn,
Safeco. Yeah, it was unbelievable. We got to go and play against Mercer Island, and it
damn.
was pretty sweet. One of my buddies hit a home run there, and it's like, dude,
Yeah.
he's
See,
gonna
that's
have
like
that for the rest of his life.
yes. I mean, because like even if you like don't play like professional baseball, you can still say that you hit a bomb at Safeco
Exactly.
off like an actual pitcher, not like
Not batting
tossing it up. Yeah,
practice or
no.
something like that. Yeah. Or
That,
virtual. It's like, no, like I stood in Safeco Field in the
yeah,
batter's box where countless of big leaguers have stood. And it's
that
like,
would
dude,
be
this is the life, you know?
what who would be the guy that you first saw at spring training and then you were just like, holy shit, that's so and so.
Oh man.
And say like with the Nationals, there's a there's,
Yeah,
say
I mean, yeah.
hmm
Well, as far like me playing
yeah
and being with the Nationals,
yep
I mean, you know, Harper was one of them.
yeah
I played against Harper growing up a few times, but um, you know, I there was Harper, there was Zimmerman, um, Scherzer, Strasburg.
yeah.
I mean, they were all just like, whoa.
Say there
I've
was
watched these guys.
oh yeah, it's say because well my favorite player in Major League Baseball is Anthony Rendon, and that's
Rendon.
yeah
That's how
it,
stacked the Nationals were.
yeah, and it I mean,
Hard.
and he's underrated, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
how stacked they were.
Exactly. I mean, he was an all-star third baseman, Gold Glover. I
Multiple
mean,
years.
yeah. I mean, he always got snuffed too
Yep.
because Arenado. I
Yep.
mean, that's who he was competing against for a Gold Glove every year.
And you can't beat out
But
Nolan Arenado.
I mean, he's
And then you
pretty
got
tough.
Manny Machado too. You got him there too. You got tough place.
It's it's a tough place to win a Gold Glove.
Oh,
That's for sure.
guaranteed. So who's let's see. So what was your first spring training like? How did that go about?
Well,
I'd say because like from what I know, people just get dropped off and go.
pretty much, yeah. Also, like we were discussing earlier, I had no idea what professional baseball was like.
Yep. Because now it's your career.
Now it's my career, but that first year, I remember. So actually, my first year, so a month, like less than a month after I got drafted, we were shipped off to Auburn, New York, which is where the Nationals short A
Okay.
team was. And that was like eye-opening as well. Um, basically just take guys from all across the country and you draft them and then you just throw them on a team. And
Say have
so
fun.
I have no idea who anybody is. I mean, I don't think there were any other Pac-12 guys that got sent there initially. We had a few get called up
Mhm.
from the GCL, but I mean, I literally showed up to the airport, got on my flight, showed up to Auburn, New York, got picked up by somebody I'd never met before. And he was like, all right, here's your hotel. Be at the ballpark tomorrow at 1:00. And I was like, all right. Had to get an Uber to the field. And
Yeah, find your own rides.
yeah. And so I showed up to the field and I was like, I don't know anybody. And like, if you know me, I'm pretty easy to have a conversation with or
Yeah, oh
make
yeah.
a conversation and meet new people. But like, I don't know, it was something different about just showing up
Were you
somewhere like
nervous?
that. Oh yeah, I was definitely nervous because it's like I said, I had no idea what to expect, and then not to mention all these guys that just got drafted, but you're also including guys from the Dominican Republic,
Yeah.
Venezuela,
Whole different ball
who,
game.
who barely speak English. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this is a whole new world.
Yeah.
But then when you get on the field, it's like it's the same game you've always been playing.
Yeah.
So I think after that season and then showing up to spring training, I was a lot more comfortable. So, you know, showing up to spring training, it was like, okay, you know, there's my buddy Jackson, or, you know, there's my buddy Rhett, there's my buddy Max. So it was kind of like we were all experiencing it, but it just seemed like, you know, some of those guys that went to Vanderbilt or South Carolina,
Because
or
they've played with all of them before.
yeah, they, you know, they always have these guys that, you know, are high draft picks that always come back to their colleges to work out and train.
Yeah.
They kind of get a feel and, you know, get to ask all these questions and stuff. And it's like, oh, you know, this is just another day for them. Meanwhile, it's like, I'm over here. Yeah, we've had guys get drafted from WSU, but at least when I was there, we didn't really have anybody come back. So it was kind of like I was kind of going into it blind.
Well, Pullman's a different place. That place is badass, man.
That place is hefty.
I love Pullman.
I mean, I don't see how you can hate it.
If you're from Pullman.
Even then, you know, I knew a couple kids that I trained there, and it's like, you know, it's a hard place to leave. It really is.
In the Palouse, it's fun.
It's just a different place, you know. You have to experience it.
You gotta go to Wazoo during Halloween week.
Well, so if you're going to school at WSU, me personally, it's a love-hate relationship when Halloween week comes about, because you have all these people come into Pullman and it's just a mess.
And they're not even from Wazoo. Like,
no.
I mean, I've gone there and I'm
yeah, I mean, you're literally, you know, 2 hours away, if that. But I mean, there were people coming from like out of state. It was incredible. I mean, and I'm sure it continues. We also like had multiple break-ins, my apartment included. But yeah, I mean,
it's a wild town.
It's a wild town, no doubt about it.
So what? Yeah. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So when you were playing, I guess like in the minors, like now, have you had any teammates that have been just like phenomenal ball players like that haven't called up like to the bigs?
Yeah, a lot actually. Soto for one. He was
the 21-year-old phenom.
The 21-year-old phenom who literally is a generational player.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he is incredible. I mean, anytime we would go on the road and take batting practice, so, you know, normally the home team always hits batting practice first.
Yeah.
Other teams would stay out after they get done. They were done hitting batting practice, and they would sit there and watch him take batting practice.
That's insane.
I mean, the ball coming off of his bat was a different sound. It was just incredible. I absolutely hated being in the same group as him, because he would just put everyone to shame.
I mean,
in that group. Like, he would go left center, just no problem.
What is it? I saw. I think it was a highlight of him today. Like he went oppo, and it was and it was just like, it was like nothing.
Yeah, it's just him flicking the wrists, and it's 450 feet the other way. That's just the types of guys that you play against.
True. Well, I mean, I wouldn't compare everyone to Soto. There's like a handful of players I would compare it to Juan Soto.
Right. I mean, there have been many others as well. I mean, Victor Robles.
Yep.
Dude has a absolute cannon.
Yes.
I mean, if he ever can't hit, he's got to step on a mound. I mean, that is just effortless velocity.
They should put him on a mound.
Well, I mean, the guy runs like a 3.8, 3.9 down
So
the line, so.
so you let him hit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's got some pop, too. Don't get me wrong. But,
True. Dude's fast. There was, let's see, so in 2018, I moved down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, like for the year.
Mhm.
So I would drive up and go to the National Spring Training.
In West Palm or at
West Palm.
Okay. I was going to say, if you went to the one in Melbourne,
Nope.
probably weren't impressed.
No, definitely West Palm with Nationals Astros
Yeah,
complex.
that's a really nice complex that we have now.
So that was my first time going to spring training.
Oh yeah.
And then I kind of wish I knew people then like I do now
Yeah.
for it. It would have been a little better.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to do in the stadium and the complex, but you get to watch some baseball at least.
I would call in sick and then just drive up. And I would buy like the cheapest ticket and then just either sit like on the grass, like in the outfield, like all by myself, or try and get up close. And no, it was like one of the best days.
I mean, it's hard to beat
And just
a
watch
good day at
baseball.
the ballpark.
Dude, there was, I think, say the first game I watched, it was, I wanted to go because Scherzer was on the mound. And then I think his first pitch, uh, Dansby Swanson hit a bomb like off him. And I was like, well, holy shit. And then Max was just smiling, laughing, just spring
Shoot
training.
me the ball. Oh well.
Yeah. I was like, damn. But it's
Yeah. It's
wild.
just spring training is just a different type of baseball.
Do you think that next year, well, I guess not next year. Okay, so this past year during spring training, was it a different vibe, like with the Astros in the same facility, like the same area?
Not really. I mean, we're so far apart. I mean,
Yeah,
granted, we're in the same complex, but I
yeah,
mean, their locker room and our locker room is
yeah,
like
totally,
completely
yeah,
different sides. I mean, I know personally a couple of guys in the Astros organization, and there was like no animosity towards us
yeah,
because we're still in the minors, so it's not like we played the game.
yeah.
I mean, there's obviously some trash talking back and forth on who's better, and then of course the whole trash can deal came out. So yeah, there was definitely some trash talking going on, but
Nope,
there was
no pun intended on that.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, spring training got cut short, so we were only there, the minor league side was only there 5 days.
So you traveled across the whole country and then just got told, see ya.
Yep.
Or like, how did that work? Or like, how did that go down?
So we showed up, I think it was March 2nd was when we reported. And you could already tell there was like a weird vibe going on throughout the whole facility with, like the training staff in particular, because, they had like
knew,
a better understanding. And me working in Seattle this off season, across the street from Amazon, where they had like one of the first cases pop up. That was kind of like, I kind of understood what was going on, I think, more than other people did. So, and I told that story. Like I told somebody like, yeah, like a place I worked at this off season was right across the street from Amazon. That was like one of the first spots that we had a case pop up. And one of the trainers came over and was like, hey, like, I don't know if I'd be going around telling that people like
You're going to be sent home just because that.
I mean, that's kind of how it came off. I was like, all right, that's good to know. I will zip the mouth.
Once again, Washington State gets the shit on the stick.
Yep. But so yeah, we got our physicals done. Had like a really light workout, and then the next day we had like a full-on workout, and then the third day was when the NBA canceled the season.
Yep. And then right then, like even I knew, I was like, this is not good for baseball.
Yeah. I mean, we had a full day's work, and we were at me and 3 other guys rented a house for spring training, and we were at the house just watching ESPN, and of course it pops up NBA cancels, and we're like, okay, well, if the NBA is canceling the season, who's next? MLB. And then it was like the NHL like a couple hours later.
Yep.
And then the next day we show up to the field and they're like, turn around and go home. We're not practicing today. And then we're like, okay. And so then we went home, didn't hear anything, show up the next day. And it's like, we have a full-on workout. And it's like, you just sent us home. So now what's going on? And we finished up our workout, and the big league team was starting their game, and they got like 2 innings in, and then that's when they announced that they're canceling spring training. And so we were just like, all right, what's next? And sure enough, next day we all had plane tickets home.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was an eventful like 4 or 5 days where it was just like,
you had no idea like what was happening.
No idea. And it was like each day something more dramatic would happen. And it was just like, here we are just trying to, get our workouts in.
Yeah.
The NBA just canceled their season, or the NHL. And it's just like, what is going on? And it's like, here we are now.
2020.
6 months in, and season canceled. Had to find a job for the whole summer.
Damn, you have to live the 9-to-5 life for a little bit.
Yes, yeah. You get a taste of the real world real quick.
Yeah. Dude, that would be frustrating. Going all the way down there. I mean, like to get excited about spring training, and then like for a brand new season, and then just nope.
Nope. And it's not like I'm getting any younger, or any of the other guys are getting any younger.
That is true. So did you stay busy, I guess, like for training wise in Seattle?
For like the first couple weeks I was trying to, and then
or did you just shut it down?
Well, I mean, you try, and then all of a sudden it's like everything gets closed down.
Yeah.
We're in full on quarantine, and the state of Washington was like,
we got screwed.
The first one to do it. So it was just kind of like, who am I going to go play catch with? No one wants to play catch or go hit because they're afraid they're going to catch this. And so it just kind of like dragged on, and now it's like some places are finally starting to open back up. But it's like you're going a full year without seeing live pitching. And, for guys like me, it's like, well, I have to work in order to live, basically. So it's like you just got to pick and choose when you're going to work out, when you're going to go hit. I mean, it took me almost 2 months, if not longer, to find a place to finally go train at. Yeah. Because everything was closed down.
Where'd you go to?
So there's I guess a select ball team 5 minutes down the road from my apartment here in Seattle. They're called City Baseball, and well, how it happened was I initially was like, okay, well, let's see if there's any baseball facilities where I live, because the guy that I normally go train with was closed and he had no idea when he was going to be able to reopen. So I just Googled baseball facilities around the area, and sure enough, there was 5 minutes down the road, and I was able to get his contact information, and he was more than willing to help me out. He's like, yeah, just like, make sure you clean the weights. If you hit any baseballs, just make sure you kind of like put them in a separate pile so that we can clean them and whatnot. So thankfully they let me in with open arms, and that's kind of like where I've been training at for the past month now.
How that works. How's it?
Yeah.
I went up to I think like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. Went up to Driveline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for like it was my first time up there.
It's a nice facility. They just redid a lot of it.
It's because we went back to like the camera zone, like where they have like all these cameras. It's
next level.
Insane.
Yeah.
I mean, like we don't have any of that at all on this side of the mountains. Besides, I mean, they put in like DBAT places, but nothing really to that level.
No, I mean, I don't think a lot of
actually, I don't think there is anything to the level of Driveline.
No, that is a one of a kind place.
It would be, because I was looking at like the record boards and all that, and was it the fastest or the hardest pitch by a guy under 180 pounds, Joe Kelly. I was like, holy shit, like free Joe Kelly.
Yeah. Hashtag.
Yes. No, there's Washington State. I mean, there's a lot of talent out of here, but need more opportunities for the whole state.
Yeah, I agree. They're just it just seems like there's more focus on other sports than baseball, which is sad because there's so many opportunities for guys that just don't have it.
Got that one. Sucks.
It does.
Let's wrap it up a little bit. What's your do you have any final thoughts for listeners? Any advice that you personally have received that you think is top notch?
I think my biggest advice is to make sure you enjoy the game.
Yep.
If you're not enjoying the game, what's the point in continuing to play it?
Especially baseball.
Yeah, I mean, some of the best memories I have are from a younger age with, my high school buddies, getting to, hang out with them. That was some of the best times of my life. And
yeah,
you make lifelong friends doing that. And I think there's a shift going on right now, and that is pulling people away from that, and making people focus on just one sport is just not good for you. I think kids need to be able to experience multiple sports and make lifelong friends and continue to grow as people.
And then at the end of the day, that's what matters.
That is.
You can only play baseball for so long.
Exactly.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Take care.
You too.
Then that is